speaks to the nature lover in Christopher. It's like that's Eden, right? Like
his inner wild man. Yeah.
Yes, we're excited. Okay, tell us more about you wanting to live under a tree root, honey, and just eating mangoes.
Well, when I was
mangoes are my favorite.
Mangoes. I was in Hawaii once, and I would do mango meditations, like every taste, letting the life force energy of the mango like infuse every cell. Look, you can still see it a little bit if you look closely.
You're just glowing yellow today. Just like Daniela's also rocking the yellow today.
I love yellow.
It's in
Yellow
bulk,
is
so I'm in green.
I know you guys greened up today. If you got the nature and the sun, you got the
Yes.
That's what it's all about. Color therapy.
Good morning. Welcome everyone. Hello,
everyone. Hi Nicole. Good morning, Lori. Hi Sarah. Hi Adriana. Hey Jordan. Good morning.
Hope everybody's having a wonderful morning so far. Happy in bulk to everybody.
It is Suzanne. I would have everything that I own be beige, yellow, off-white, pink, and brown. That's my happiest places are in those colors.
Mine is just purple, blue, and green are my three favorite colors.
Yeah.
I should say teal and purple, really. Love them. Good morning. Hi, Daniel.
That snake that I saw, that I touched, was you. I think I might have thought of you, Laura, in that dream, not dream, whatever that was, because it was blue and teal. I think in between "don't bite me" or "don't kill me." I can't remember now what the phrase was. My mantra was, "Please don't bite me. Please don't kill me." I think I might have thought of you because I noticed the colors where I'm like, oh, Laura would love these colors.
For everybody who doesn't know what she's talking about, she had a really wild lucid dream the other day where she saw this, it was like a snake that came in close to her face.
Huge. It was in the water. It was a water snake, and a dad and a son were standing there pointing at it, like to see it. And I'm like, kind of hard to miss seeing. It's right there. And I'm standing on the rocks, and it starts moving towards me, and it's ginormous. It's like Nagini huge, Harry Potter Nagini. However, it didn't have the energy that if Nagini's coming to you, you're done for. But it had a remarkably round head, right? Which doesn't indicate danger. It was like almost, I even thought, oh, it's almost like a cartoon head, but it was not cartoonish looking. It was very, very real. And it was coming towards me. And in between "don't kill me, Laura likes your colors," I put my hand up because it was right there by my face. And when I put my hand up and touched it, I could feel it solid, as if I could feel its coolness, its scales. And when I touched it, its whole body went, it just rippled down, and then it reversed it. And the last thing I remember was, it's now reading me. It was whatever that means. I don't know, but I could feel everything about it. I don't remember the last time, if ever, having such a concrete experience in, like that. I don't know. I still don't know what it meant or was.
A lot of people are afraid of snake beings, but snake beings are actually highly revered through almost every single ancient culture on Earth. And most of them actually don't consider them to be bad. They consider them to be highly enlightened beings who are here to pass on knowledge. And we also have the Kundalini snake that is actually a part of our own etheric body. So we have parts of ourselves that do kind of mingle with this cosmic snake energy. And it does tend to, be channeled in in times of our lives when we are going through great change. That is the symbol of the snake. I've done a lot of dream interpretation, and the snake usually represents change because, shedding of the skin, becoming a new person. So yeah, a lot of times people are afraid of snakes, but that's actually a really great omen to see one in a dream, especially if it's not attacking you.
Yeah, no. And so Michelle's saying, did it feel good or bad? It didn't No, it felt neutral, like it was doing a job, kind of like, if plant medicine, you have the experience of it's reading you, it's scanning you, kind of like that. And so, so the only bad was coming from my mind, like a little like, oh my God, don't eat me, don't kill me. And I don't know if I could have moved. I think I was paralyzed, and I don't think it was from fear. Like I just literally, it had a job to do. There was something that happened. It had a job, and that it's reading me. And then I don't remember anything else. Then I woke up. I was like, holy shimoles.
And you were sharing last night in another class about how the snake, what happens. There's a time when the snake is shedding its skin. Do you want to share more about? There's a moment there where the snake isn't powerful snake, right? What happens?
Yeah. Well, snake also reminds us that in our transformations in our life, that it has to rub up against a resistance, a rock, in order to get those last layers of the skin. I used to have ball pythons, and when they were shedding, you'd put a rock in there because they really need to rub up against something that has resistance. And allegedly, right before they fully shed, they are completely vulnerable. There's a film that covers their eyes, so they're blind. They can't see anything. So it's a really magnificent process. I love animals that molt and shed. I've had hermit crabs. I love watching them go through that really vulnerable place. This is a weird story. I had a black widow spider that I cared for 9 months because, do you mind a little story, a little spirit story?
Love
I
story
don't, not at all. Are you kidding? We love story time.
Black widow story.
Okay. We want to hear about your pet spider, by all means.
Okay. But this is how it's even bigger than that, because it's always showing this. The story illustrates how when our practices in our life prepare us to be more attuned to the subtle fluctuations, right? Like the shaman can see ships coming much more in advance because they see the subtle change of the water patterns. So it's like this. So because, I do my very best to be a good student of the practices that I share and teach others. One morning, my son woke up and he had a fever. Red grapes are very cooling, and he craves them when he has a fever. So I wanted to go down to Green Star, which is a local co-op, and get some red grapes, and they have organic ones. So I like leaving the house with my dishes done and everything tidy, not from like has to be clean. It's more from the perspective of I'm deeply rooted in I don't know if I'm returning. I don't want someone to clean my dishes if I have my final exhale downtown, right? So it's like I really like leaving my space clean. If somebody comes in, they don't have to do work if I die. So I come and I'm like trying to rush through the dishes, and it takes 2 minutes for hot water to get to my sink for a variety of reasons. So I'm feeling impatience rising because I want to get going. And I also revere putting my recycling in the garbage, because there's something about people coming to my home to the end of the street and taking our garbage away weekly and our recycling. I'm really touched by that. And I view, usually it's men that do this work. I like to imagine that the mothers of these men who come and take my garbage and my recycling, that it's respectful and honorable for these sons and these mothers, that I'm going to make my garbage like as beautiful and my recycling clean. And so you don't have to come and just be like, so I've seen some recycling. It's like, you snuck some gross things in there. And so I'm cleaning out my honey jar because I had used the last of the honey, and I'm waiting for hot water. This is relevant, I promise. I'm waiting for the hot water to come up so I can swish out the last of the honey, pour it in my tea, and then put it in recycling so it's not sticky and icky. And it's taking a while, and I'm start to put the jar down. I'm like, you know what? I'll wait for the hot water after I go downtown. And I heard the voice say, "Clean the jar." And I'm like, so I'm waiting for hot water. I'm a minute into the waiting. I got impatient and I started to put the jar down again. Twice now it says, "Clean the jar." So I wait, I clean the jar, the hot water, it's all nice. And I feel my hand put the jar upside down in the drying rack, which is unusual. Normally my hand would move to the recycling, but I felt when you really are in a relaxed nervous system, you can feel spirit moving you more than your mind. So my mind is saying, put it in recycling. My hand is putting it upside down in the dish rack. Cool. I'm like, we've finished this event. Okay. I'm getting in the car now. So I drive downtown, get my groceries, got a few extra things, put the bag down in the corner of my kitchen, right, which is underneath the drying rack. The dogs run over to the bag of groceries because there's roast beef in it. And they're like, yeah. So now I'm thinking, all right, my plan wasn't to put all the groceries away. I just want to deal with these grapes. And clearly that's not happening. The message is put your groceries away. So I pull the roast beef out, put it in the fridge. I then pull out the grapes. Out of the corner of my eye, some shape catches my attention, and my subconscious registers what's happening long before my conscious mind figures out what's happening. My other hand, I'm like, my other hand is going to the honey jar that is in reach, and boop, puts itself up against outside of the red grape bag to catch the dangling black widow that is just hanging off the bag of red grapes. Yeah. This could have gone multiple other ways had I not listened.
For those of you who don't know, a black widow can put you in the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the dogs, right? Because they're snooping around in the bag. Yes. So now I've got this black widow in a jar. I'm like, okay, it's lidded. I'm like looking through the grapes to make sure it doesn't have a family there or an egg sac. Right? Just be one. Yeah. Be a one widow, right? And then I call around. I call Cornell University. It's right around the holidays. Hey, who wants a black widow? Like, do you want to study it? Do you want it? Anybody want this? Everybody ends there. I call like the bug people, and everybody the conversation with, we'd put it in the freezer if we were you, like give it a merciful death. And something immediately in me, I just sat with it looking at her, and she's so beautiful. And I have a long history, a disempowering story about Black Widow. And so it was really a symbol of healing that she showed up. And Grandmother Spider is very, very, I really revere spiders. I love them. And so I heard care for her, meditate with her. So I went to the pet store and purchased a very simple, solid, can't escape, taped it all up, right? Condominium for her, and made it really lovely, and had crickets and fed her, and spent 9 months meditating with her every morning and feeding her, and just really meditating with her. And then she, I was so sad when she lived her full life. So it was a very, very beautiful experience. So my point in sharing all of that is, in the spaces between our mind thinking and planning and plotting, all of our practices, meditation, hiking, biking, karate, qigong, whatever you like, inquiry, prepare you to be so fluid with the dynamism and the intimacy and the beauty and the magnificence of life. We miss this flow with our busyness and so much overthinking and the mental body overworking in our lives. So that's my Black Widow share. And I named her Indra after Indra's net, which is, you guys want to go down a fun rabbit hole. It's from the Vedic and Hindu traditions. There's a beautiful story of a web, of a vast, limitless web that at each vertice is connected by a multifaceted jewel that represents a very holographic, unique reality. Like, they knew their shit, like, about the nature of reality, subjective holographic realities. Indra's net was how that was described and taught. So her name was Indra, and then Charlotte was her middle name after Charlotte. Salutations from Charlotte's Web. So
What a deeply touching story. And you know what's funny? Charlotte's Web is the reason why I love spiders so much. I do. Ever since I was a little kid, I was never afraid of spiders. In fact, I was really good at catching flies. And I'd feed the spiders. I'd be like, you know, I would love to. I don't know why.
Salutations. Salutations. And that's some pig and her children at the end. Joy was one of them that remained. And then 2 others. They're on the tip of my tongue. They're her children's names, her legacy. And yeah, that was why. I always had spiders in my lampshade because I had one of those lampshades with like spaces for spiders. They were always named George. So I really
always named George. I'm gonna love you and squeeze you and hug you and kiss you. Call you George. Oh, you're so funny.
And someone asked where she came from. Are they in our area? She came from California.
Yes.
These are California red grapes, and since they're organic, they didn't go through, the spray process.
And she was hibernating because, if that's the word, because it was so cool. She was in a cooler, so she was, she warmed up when she came into my home, which is usually 80. So she's like, woo, back to Cali.
And it turns out that their entire lifespan is a year or less. So she was young and she got quite good sized over the time.
Oh, she got huge.
She got well fed.
Yeah, I got her the big crickets, and she was magnificent to watch. And in the wintertime, hearing all the crickets in the background, I'd be teaching. They're like, do you have a nature song playing? I'm like, no, it's the cricket tank. And I fell in love with them, too. I love cricket as a symbol of, crickets always only jump forward. They don't look back. They always move forward, right? So I really love the messages that animals bring us. And sometimes we have a personal relationship and meaning to an animal that is beyond what you might find if you Google it. And usually, though, if you Google an animal symbolism, I think you were talking about this the other day, there's always a message, and it usually always corresponds to whatever's happening in your life. And it's usually just one sentence that'll you're like, bam, that's it. That's why I keep, it was with Kim yesterday. She was seeing the deer a lot. And you saw stink bug. And it really
stink bugs.
I love stink bugs,
but they were everywhere, and I'm like, what is the message in this? And sure enough, I Google what is the meaning of a stink bug, and there's everything.
It always reminds me of hard. Totally. Stink bugs always remind me of I don't know what race of ETs, like maybe the Greys that allegedly just kind of watch in on you. But I always offer them
some very stinky ETs out there, just for the record.
So funny. So I always I give them mango juice when we have it, or a little bit of and they always come over and drink. I love watching them. Then I film them as though I'm making National Geographic footage, right? I'm like, oh, this is good footage. I share with no one. So it's so cool.
So I just try not to kill anything. That's my attitude. If there's something, live and let live. If it's, I don't feel bad throwing a stink bug out when it's freezing, though. So you're on your own, get out.
I still put ticks outside. I really do. I always feel torn, even taking ticks off the animals. I still put them back outside, even though
you don't even kill ticks. Oh my God, Daniela.
I don't.
You are an angel in human form.
No, there's something, it's just my path. It doesn't mean it's the right one for everyone. It's not. It's just, and that's the beauty of our individual journeys, right? Is what's the path? Christopher and I, when I first met Christopher, baby mouse was the symbol of our union together, because there we were in a barn and a baby mouse is on the ground. And
a little pinky with its eyes closed.
You could even see its digestion, it had maybe had one meal and there was no mama around. And,
it was cold.
When we turn inward and ask, guide me, whether it's your higher self, your guides, your soul, your heart, whatever it is you're asking, it's that, okay, here's the situation. Please guide me. I'm listening. I'm available. Give me direction here. The direction I heard was the complete opposite of what Christopher heard in that moment. And that doesn't mean mine was higher, better, or right, or his was cruel, right? So we all have to be so respectful of one another's journey. So we negotiated and I won. We went with my path. Not like it was he's like, okay, cool. You can carry the pink mouse around with you now all day long until further notice and feed it. Cool, have at it. So I'm thinking, well, I have to cater tomorrow. I volunteered catering. I'm I could kind of casually one hand have it here and they wouldn't even know if it lives, and I'll figure out how to feed it. And I go to Target with my son because he's going on vacation the next day. And I'm in line. They're like, get to the checkout. Target's closing. I'm still holding this little pink mouse. It's alive. It's warm. I'm checking on it. It's wiggling. And I hear someone a few sentences back say, I work at Cornell Animal Aftercare, After Hours Emergency Animal Clinic. I'm like, woo, I got a baby mouse right here. So she hooks me up with John. So I drive a half hour away to give John the baby mouse, because this is what he does rehabilitation. He contracts with them and he cares for, and the mouse lived. He took care of it. And here's the best part of the story. He had baby mouse in one of those huge, what are they? How many gallons are they?
A 5-gallon bucket.
5-gallon buckets, no stick for baby mouse to get out, lid on it solid, held down by rocks. And it was ready for release. And he went in and it was gone. The rocks were still on the lid. It literally, so whether timeline jump, it ascended, I have no idea.
An ascended mouse.
Ascended mouse is my master. Wow, ascended mouse.
Oh my God, I can tell animal stories all morning. Yeah,
we need a new podcast called Story Time with Daniela. What do you think?
Yeah, we do.
I love animals.
But listen. So this is where this gets really fun. So looping way back to Kundalini rising in snakes. So your Kundalini energy, everybody has Kundalini energy rising. This isn't for the special ones. Every single human has Kundalini rising. And the ancient texts don't say it's a snake. They say it's snake-like, because of the way that they observed with their inner perception of the coiling of it. So it's a coiled energy, right? Think of a spring. A spring is coiled, and what does it do? It rebounds, right? It receives shocks and it rebounds. It receives pressure and it rebounds. It receives challenges and it rebounds. So our Kundalini energy that everybody has is coiled and creates this life that we have. Mm. Now, our life force energy, our chi, is nurtured in roughly 4 different ways. We have original chi essence inherited from our parents. This is our genetics. This is our outlook. This is our constitution, the original chi. Then we have the food chi from everything that we bring in. What we eat, what we drink, what we breathe, what we think, what we see, when we're doom scrolling, everything is coming in and becoming nurtured chi. And then there's earth chi, and Daniela's descriptions and her stories are brilliant examples of how she's allowing earth chi to nourish her Kundalini, because she's in the flow. You could see how lit up she received this, right? So she's welcoming this in, and she's allowing the mouse, the snake, this is her everyday lived experience. I'm so honored to get to travel with her. So she's allowing nature, earth chi, to also nourish her. And then there's universal chi, the stars, the celestials, the sun. This is where 4D and 5D comes in. So the universal chi is also giving us opportunities. Always we have free choice, friends. Every step of this human journey, we're at complete free will. And you can say, yes, please, or no, thank you to every step of the way. And so these 4 kinds of chi together are conspiring towards our healing and towards that upliftment that we can welcome in as Kundalini rising. And yes, that is where the caduceus, the coiled snakes, come from. It's also our DNA. Our DNA double helix represents they say it's 3.5 coils, and then it ends. And the reason that it looks like a cobra when it's depicted, because it comes up the nadis and it comes over the crown of your head down to your nostrils where it crisscrosses. So this is where alternate nostril breathing in the yoga traditions and the qigong traditions, alternate nostril breathing, nadi shodhana, the balancing of the nadis is so powerful, because your Kundalini rising is weaving and spiraling and circling up you all the time. It's happening right now for every single one of you. This isn't in your future. Your Kundalini's rising, friends, and it crests over your head. So they depicted it because in old times, they had a lot of time for art. So they depicted it like a cobra with that, because they felt it, they experienced it coming up and over, and it terminates out the meridians at the end of the nose. So when you practice alternate nostril breathing, which I love to share, love to teach, maybe we'll do a breath workshop sometime, it's balancing the meridians, it's balancing the two major nadis, the left and the right, the Ida and the Pingala, that weave up your body, and everywhere they cross is a chakra. So you have your main energy channel, the Sushumna, which runs up the center of your spine. And then we have the left and the right that weave. So these together are where all of this imagery and all of these pictures come from. And every one of you has this, and every one of you has experienced it, and every one of you is navigating your life, welcoming a very unique mixture of these four kinds of chi. Your original chi, then the food chi, and then what you see, everything in nature, and then, you know, the subtle, right? The celestial.
It can feel very subtle, or it can be very intense depending on the experience. Because I've told the story before, but I'll say it again. I was messing around with some moldavite and some selenite, and it was when I first discovered crystals, and everybody was saying that moldavite and selenite are the highest vibrational crystals you can get. So I was like, all right, let's see what you can do, you know? Yeah, bring it on.
Prove it, guys. Prove it.
Exactly. So I did spend quite a bit of money, and I bought myself several pieces of moldavite and selenite, and I made a big crystal grid, and I sat in the middle of the grid. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm meditating now. Do your thing. Like, let's see what you got, you know? And I sat there, and it was only about 2 minutes that I was sitting there. And all of a sudden, I felt like this heat. It started at the base, like right where your tailbone is. And then it started rising up my back. And I could feel it. It almost felt like my spine was starting to, like, burn as it was going up. And then I felt like this pop. It was really weird. Like, I could feel as it was rising up. It hit my heart, and I felt like this, and then I felt like this, like almost like a pain in my throat. Like it was like I couldn't speak for a second, and then I felt a huge pop out my third eye, and it scared the shit out of me. I must admit, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it did, and I felt like my spine was on fire. Like it literally felt like I had been sitting on a little embers or something, because it quite literally set my ass on fire is what it felt like. And I ran into the shower and jumped in with my clothes on because I didn't know what to do. I just felt this intense heat rising through my whole body, and the only thing I could think of was, put it out.
I still get it. Oh my God. Bree,
I didn't know what it was.
Bree, you said,
told me, oh, you activated your Kundalini, and I was like, oh my God. Like I didn't know that was a thing.
So many things can activate it. You know, in the world of yoga, there's actually, I like to think of the entrance into yoga as 4 doors. There's the physical door of physical practices. Yoga also means the door of mind, inquiry, meditation. It's also access. Yoga is also devotion to what you love and cherish. And then there's yoga of service and seva and being useful in the world in the way that you are. And I had a very similar experience, not through any crystal grids, but I was driving one day and through the door of devotion, right? You can picture in your mind some animal or a teacher or someone that really is a clear vessel that you so cherish and respect and appreciate. And that's what devotion is. It's like I want to serve this love. And so I'm driving on this very long straight road. I could drive for about 15 minutes and not have any interference on this one particular road. So I'm like, oh, I got 15 minutes. I'm gonna picture my teacher that I so love. I so love her. I so love her eyes. So I pictured her, and I pictured that I was sweeping rocks off her driveway. I'm just doing a driving meditation. And she comes out of the door. I didn't expect her there. I was just doing this for her as an act of seva and devotion, just sweeping her driveway. She comes out the door, and I lock eyes with her, and the same thing. I'm driving, and Bree, why your comment reminded me of this was, if I didn't know what was happening, I solidly would have thought I was having a stroke. because this energy is rising up. And I hear the voice say, you're on a straight road. We got you. Just let it happen. Don't interrupt this. And it just keeps going and going. And now it's all in my head, like golden white light. I can't really see the road well, but I just know I'm on a straight road. I keep hearing them. They're lighthearted. They're just saying, you're safe. We got you. We got you. Just, you're good. Don't interrupt this, was just what I kept hearing. Same thing. So my point in sharing that is these 4 doors, trust the one that you're called to, because it will bring you. We're here, as Lauren and Camille say, to be in the cherishing intimacy of our lives, which is very personal and very, very unique to each of you. So Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. That's kind of what he meant. Like, follow what you love. And all you're up against is your mind and the doubt of others. That's all we're up against. Mm-hmm. So the more you give yourself over to what you uniquely love, what delights you, look at the word delight, delights you, it lights you up, whatever you love. And sometimes you're tested hard. My family members stepped away from me for a while due to, we just don't get your path. And sometimes you have to trust your path. And at the end, there was a miraculous reuniting right on my father's deathbed. So you can trust life, and we are here to say yes to what we love. That's the key. It's the key, friends. And so activating that Kundalini energy is a side result of you following the trusting, loving, wise voice that arises in the space between your thoughts, whether it's you think it's your higher self, your inner guidance system, your soul, your heart, your guides. I just know that I know the voice of the loving friend all my life, just guiding me, teaching me, showing me. And sometimes you want to puke what you hear, the simple directions, like quit that job, relationship's over. You're like, and then your life has to get messy enough for you to be like, okay, I know, I got it. I just didn't want to do with the thing I heard.
Well, it can be a side result if you're preparing for it, and it also can happen spontaneously and be kind of scary. Yes. And this is the reason why learning your own methods, like Daniela was sharing, of moving your energy and cultivating your energy, because it's kind of like in your house, you have electricity running. And if you put too much electricity through too small of a wire, it burns out. Like you've heard people say, don't plug in space heaters through like a daisy chain of home little teeny tiny extension cords. Like my plug's way over there and I want the heat here. You don't hook up a whole bunch of little plugs to pull that much current through to your space heater, because it'll burn out and start a fire. So that's what happens.
My dad lost a house that way. Yeah, my dad lost a house in his 30s that way. Burned to the ground. Yep.
Life is conspiring to have you emerge into the light that you are, to have you shine bright. Everything's moving you in that direction. And so if you haven't yet found how to prepare for this, how to develop and cultivate the channels of energy, which is what we teach in our Qigong program, to cultivate the channels of energy so that blocks and stress are moving out and you're getting more and more used to these currents, then it can totally become scary.
That's exactly why the Tayghetans are telling us not to use psychedelics, actually. That's their stance on psychedelics. They say that you get too much energy coming in, that your body isn't prepared for it, that it's going to burn you out faster the more you do it. Which, I mean, it depends on how much energy you can handle. Not everybody is different. Some people are, able to handle a higher frequency, whereas others, it changes. So really, it all depends on what you feel, comfortable with. But it is important to note that too, because a lot of us are channeling energy. It makes me think of what Andy explained when he's channeling Chen. Because it's like driving a car at 100 miles an hour all the time while you're doing it. And it's a lot of energy coming through. So it actually does wear out the body faster that way.
Yeah. Siddhartha Angelica says the same, that there's the current and currency is tremendous.
Yeah. She says it took her 40 years to learn to really receive Siddhartha coming through in the strength that he is now. And today, we have Siddhartha today at 1.
I do. Yep, 1:00 today in Divinate paid membership. Yep, live Q&A with Siddhartha. Just go, hang out with the Buddha and Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. We are so blessed. It's amazing.
With joining us, it's going to be so great.
Can I talk about qualms?
Please do. Whatever you want. You can talk about whatever you want, girl.
Okay. You guys, we're like really excited about this. All right. We are, right, friends? Like we okay. So the coolest thing in the world is having incredible support for light workers, healers, givers, educators, spiritual seekers. And the direction that we go.
Okay, I got it now. She'll get there. I'm like, what are we even talking about?
The direction that we're all moving together in as a collective, as an organization, and really what your membership contributions are supporting is the development of the Quantum Academy of Metaphysical Studies, QAMS. And our vision is, once we reach about 500 or 600 friends and community members in the paid membership side, that gives us the ability to really erect this online university that has 1-2 year programs of studies where you literally receive a professional certification, where you are trained in the foundation. So everybody goes through their own healing work and their healing journey. The 101 level curriculum. The 201 is where now you're really immersing in the education for the body, the mind, and the spirit. And then the 300 level is where you focus on your area of study. So one could graduate from the Quantum Academy of Metaphysical Studies with a degree in Qigong, because you have to have something of the body. It could be Qigong, it could be yoga, it could be Kundalini yoga, Reiki. It could be Reiki. Exactly. So there's something for the body in your degree, your diploma. There is something for the mind and processes to support you and help your clients in the material world. And then something in the world of spirit. So maybe it's Qigong, Reiki, inquiry, and psychic mediumship and SRT, right? So that would be your full degree. And so as graduates of this, the world knows, wow, these are healed healers. These are healers that have a reputation for having really gone through their own inner cleansing and healing process. You're knowledgeable because you've been learning from some of the best educators in the world, and you're exemplary at your trade. So I'm just like, I cannot be more excited about this. And that's all I want to say about that.
We're building a university, folks. It's going to be amazing.
So keep letting your friends know what's key for assisting us, because some of these educators are already present. Many of you have met Kaya or Kim and Laura Whitworth.
Tracy Trimble, Scott, Matrix Scott.
So these are early reveals. So their presence in Divinate, as well as their outside coursework, are what we're weaving together. So as you feel comfortable with all of us, bringing people into the Divinate, recommending they come join just the free side, just helps us build the energy and the momentum so that these phenomenal educators are seeing that people are interested, so that we can go to the next step with them in developing the coursework.
And programs you're already completing now, because this hasn't been fully set up yet, would be credited, right? So if, for example, you complete Laura Whitworth's program, that would be credited into your, when you start school, university, you have a school advisor, you go through your curriculum, your program of studies. That would be like if you were transferring from life into this academy, this university. It's like we'd look at, you already did Laura Whitworth's program, you did SRT, those credits would come in to your final program. So that would include the Qigong program that starts this weekend. That would be credited into the larger program if you decide to join us for that. Hi, Scott.
To answer your question, Ingrid, we're just basically we're evolving Divinate. It's going to be evolving into big and beautiful things that we're going to be expanding in many different directions.
Any of the courses that are listed in Divinate now, we develop relationships with these different educators for the courses that they're already running, and we usually have a discount code inside of Divinate for you to save a little money when you sign up. So that's all emerging. And so this weekend, so Daniela and I have a 12-week Qigong immersion. We call it Quantum Qigong. And it's a deep dive into what we've all been sharing about and what has really brought us to who we are today. And that because Qi is everywhere, I described it earlier, it's the light of your mind. It's the spark behind your heart. It's what brings you to life and gives you life and restores and nourishes your life. And so Qigong is the art of cultivating this in your life, of working with nature, of finding movement practices, of breath work and meditation that all assist in you cultivating your highest. The highest expression of who you are in this moment comes through and is supported by this ancient practice. So we have a 12-week immersion. The main class is on Saturday afternoons, Eastern time. And then we have 2 labs during the week where you can dive in and practice. Each week we have little homework, like week 1 is 7 minutes a day of any one of the practices that we'll be sharing this Saturday, because there's 2 sides to this. I think this is so important. There's the actual practices themselves, right? You all have seen and heard, maybe you've done yoga, maybe you've done breath work or Qigong. There's the actual practices. Those have a physiological benefit to your energy system. And then this is where quantum comes in. And then there's the subtle side of you saying to yourself, I matter enough to me that I'm going to make time in my day, 7 minutes, anywhere in the day, for your practice. And when you say, come what may, I will be doing my 7 minutes of whichever of the myriad of practices we present that lights you up, doesn't matter which, you saying, I matter enough to me that I'm going to take 7 minutes on my lunch break. I'm going to set my alarm 7 minutes earlier, right before bed. Doesn't even matter. Driving home from work, park the car at a park, at a lake, get out. 7 minutes, anything, it doesn't matter. You saying, I matter to me, and the universe is like, oh, okay, all right, she's ready, he's ready. And then things start to open up. But as long as you're saying, oh, I don't have time for that, then the universe is like, okay, you don't have time for that. And the energy will stay, hopefully will stay slowed down, you know? We don't want the energy to build too fast, and it might anyway. So we start cultivating this. Yeah. So Danielle, let's prepare for the shift. So our class is on Saturday, and what's brilliant is Daniela and I, this course and similar courses like it have been more than $1,000 in the past. Like this is an immersion. This is a full deep dive. For this course, this time we reduced the tuition to $888, and for all of you for today, we have a 50% off discount code. So we have 10 spots. Yeah, we have 10 spots for you guys. So you can join for $444 and take 3 months and do a deep dive with us and really jump in.
It's hard to start a practice on your own. It takes a lot of power of will to like do it on your own in your home. And so if you want to learn a practice for your body and your emotional body, Qigong is incredible for not just the physical body, very much. It's very strong for the energy body and the emotional body. You know, for those of you who really resonate with a lot of the work of Laura Whitworth and other educators here in the Academy, it's the emotional body is the one that will always trip us up. That's where we get stuck. That's where we get stagnant. And moving our energy in a way that is flowing brings you into both your power and your beautiful grace. Qigong is accessible for everyone. You feel radically different after 7 minutes, right? You don't have to do it for hours. Like you heard Kaya say the other day, she's like, oh, my exercise practice is some intuitive movement. She's like, I'm done in 9 minutes. Practices don't have to be long and hard and have special equipment. They can be, and this doesn't. And it so attends to the emotional body and the energy body. It is it's medicine that is very swift and very potent. And doing this in a group as an immersion is what will make it stick. because it's hard to stick with something new and just put a video on and be like, okay, what's he doing? Like, so we really, and then the other half of the immersion is, how do we take what we learned in class and now live it also? How do we mirror the principles of this practice in the curriculum of our life? When you get that crummy text, when that person in your life says the thing that just has you sink, when you have an outburst on someone, you're like, ugh, a little too much fire there. I just like I just blasted someone with fire. Whoops. So these practices in the class, it's important that we learn, how do I live these principles in my life exactly as my life is? Because the beauty of our lives is that it's designed brilliantly and perfectly by you, by the combination of your memories, karma, and desires, for your healing, your growth, and your evolution. So we want to help you to work with the curriculum of your life as it is, to see, how is this to help you heal? How is what's happening to grow a quality in you that perhaps is a little weak, like our tolerance, our endurance, our will, right? These are patience, gentleness, or speak up, power. So your life is unfolding for your healing, growth, and evolution. And we will help you to recognize that versus feeling like, why is this happening to me? It's actually for you. And we'll help you with the curriculum of your life as well. That's equally as important.
It doesn't matter what kind of energy work you do. This goes along perfectly with it, because it really is all about, channeling energy, bringing up your own energy, being able to hold that energy. And so many of us are giving away energy rather than attracting it. And so learning how to attract energy is one of the most important things you could do as an energy healer.
Yeah.
You got to keep refilling that cup. You got to keep it full.
We are pouring. So many of you here are healers, helpers, givers, and operating on fumes, right? Pouring from like a very low tank. And this practice, 7-minute practice, 10-minute practice, 15-minute practice, your cup, it's like certain charging cords I just learned, or blocks. Some take 2 hours to charge your phone, and I've got the white cord with the white. I just learned my phone is charged in like 32 minutes, whereas on the other cord, like
Daniela got the 20-watt upgrade. Let me give you the quick 411 on how the course runs. Thanks for the question. So absolutely, there are replays. More than that, though, we cut the replays up. So it's not just like, oh, here's 2 hours of a replay. We pull all the practices out into individual practices, so that when you go to do your 7 minutes or longer, if you want, you can go find exactly the one that you want to do. So it's a 12-week program. It starts this Saturday, and the Saturday class is at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's 10 a.m. West Coast and 6 p.m.-ish if you're in Europe. And then it's about 2.5 hours total. And we go through everything. So Saturday is where we open up that week's practices and that week's lessons and messages and inspiration. And then we have 2 optional labs during the week. One is on Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock East Coast time, and one is on Thursday evening, 7:30 East Coast time. So you could dip into either one of those and get a refresh, like a midweek refresh of what we cover on Saturday. And we'll get more of a chance to do Q&A, because it's going to be a small group. We're keeping this limited. This isn't this like 1,000-person online program where you're lost in the crowd. We're keeping this maximum 50 seats, and we have 10 that we've opened up at the half off. So if you are interested, I'll share the code here, because I want to make sure you guys have it.
And this will go towards your university degree. This covers the I'm trained in the body portion of my degree. Just FYI, it will transfer over.
You guys can see that, yeah.
And you can share this code with others, and it's really a now thing, This is the code for 50%. And there's a payment plan as well. So there's a one-time, which saves a little bit of money, and then also there's a payment plan. So if you want to come join us, this is the opportunity. I'm sure we'll do something again in the fall, and yet, who knows? It's always changing.
There's payment plans, right, honey? It's a
5K. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do that discount and break it up.
So it turns out to be less than $100 a month for the payment plan over 5 months. So it's $444 up front, and then a little bit a little bit higher total with the payment plan. And we'd love to have you. It's going to be really great. Daniela and I have been teaching these kinds of programs for years, and this is the newest iteration where we've gotten even cleaner with the messaging, even crisper with how we share with you and what we encourage you, the baby steps, the baby mouth steps that we encourage you each step of the way.
I just love helping people to come back to their fullest, like when you're, how satisfying is it when you're like, shit, I feel great today. Today I feel great. Like your energy is it sounds crude, but it's your most important commodity. It is your most precious commodity. When my energy is off, I think differently. I perceive and interpret life in a more disempowering way. I have a more negative mindset when I don't tend to my physical body, my emotional body, and my energy body. And we can't ignore the physical body. I was saying this to Laura. I was like, God, I wish we could just ignore the physical body. Like every day I'm up against resistance internally. I would skip all physical practices my entire life. I would sit on the couch. I would read. I would study. I would teach. I would never move. I think I would literally never move. And I have to make myself. And I feel balanced because I do that. When I skip that step, I'm not balanced and my energy is not strong and vital. I'm 51 years old, and my good energy is the result of these practices, because when I don't do them, I don't feel like this.
And what's fun working with Daniela and I is we have two very different approaches to Qigong that we're bringing together. So I have a background in yoga. I've been a yoga teacher for more than 10 years as well. And so for me, I love things that are with like complicated instructions and this and move this here. And Daniela just likes to flow like seaweed.
I was a figure skater. I was a figure skater and a dancer. So and a grateful and a deadhead. So like, I just want to close my eyes and just go in and let my body move, just like the hands in a honey jar, right? Like, move me, spirit. Okay, put the music on and just move me. And so I'll also teach you how to really just do it in a very intuitive way. Like you go out in nature and you could just stand by a body of water and let the water talk to you and show you how to move. Go stand by a creek. I have a tree right here, big pine tree. So I'm like, okay, all right, show me how you're moving. And it's like doing this, it's doing this. And then you can close your eyes, have a good stance, you're balanced. And now you're communing. We're really here to embody the transcendent and the chi, like through those doorways that Christopher was saying. I love doing it through nature and earth and the celestial. So I'm very rooted to the earth chi and the celestial chi. So bringing those together is heaven. It's heaven. And it has you feel delighted, and bring that golden light in, move spiritual hygiene too in this too. Like, so we integrate the golden light in the practices, clearing your energy field, grounding, setting up that sphere around you and sending it out to billions and all directions. Like, it's just so fun. It has you feel really empowered. Like I can always do something for someone. I never feel like I can't be useful. And that's why I love these practices, because we also teach the sacred energy healing in this practice that I share on Sundays after Sacred Sunday, how to get your field clear and then how to send it to others. So it's the most empowering way I know how to navigate this material plane and to stay very anchored in what I am. We're here, number one, to enjoy ourselves. We're here for the fun of it, for the play of it, to enjoy, to be useful in the world, to help ourselves be free of unnecessary suffering, to help others be free of unnecessary suffering, and to work with our life as it unfolds. So we skillfully work with our life curriculum as the character we're playing, so that we don't forget what we are. We don't want to fall asleep and forget what we are. So these practices help clear away the confusion of, oh shit, I was identifying with myself as the character I'm playing. It's not our right identity. That's not what you are. You're not the character you're playing. So these practices bring you back into the right orientation. So you're identifying with your true essential nature, not the character you're playing. Now you can play the character you are really skillfully, knowing, nod and a wink, but I know what I really am. I'm not the character. playing the character. I know what I really am. That makes all the difference in the world in the material plane.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. And I practiced Qigong about 10 years ago, and I did it for about 6 months when I was living in the UK. And it was one of the best things I ever did. And I, when I moved on, I kept doing it for a while, but then I noticed that life gets distracting. You end up forgetting about things. And then I just kind of dropped it. And then I've been practicing the last week, thanks to you guys always talking about its benefits. And I was like, you're right. That was a really great thing that I had in my life back then. And the surge in energy that I've felt just in the last 3-4 days of practicing for 10 minutes a day has been astronomical. I feel like $1 million. I do. I almost feel like I can go to the gym now. So maybe I'll add that to my list as well, of wellness. But sometimes you just feel so drained. You don't have the energy to go and do those other things. So you think, I don't have the energy to do this right now. I'm not going to bother. And so this is a way of channeling more energy when you need it. And it doesn't matter if you do it in the morning, or even if, you have, let's say you have a 4 a.m. flight and you get up at 3 a.m. and you're brain dead exhausted, and you got to get some energy quick. It works. It really does.
And there's a mental component to it as well. Like this is subtle energy. This is why we call it quantum. So any of you who say yes to this today, like you watch, it's already, we won't have even had a class, right? The first class is 48 hours, 2 days away. We won't have even had a class, and you saying yes is already going to change. It's already, you'll notice a shift tonight. You'll notice a shift tomorrow morning. You'll notice a shift in your dreams because you're saying, I matter. I'm a yes to learning how to manage my energy, how to cultivate, how to understand where I'm inadvertently, innocently blocking one of these 4 energy flows in my life. Am I not acknowledging the chi that I was born with? Am I not feeding myself? Am I not hydrating with warm water in the morning to give my cells something? Am I not breathing into my abdomen to allow proper exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide through my brilliant temple body? Am I not spending time in nature and allowing the signs and the symbols and the fresh air that's out there to nourish me? And am I not listening to the signs of the celestials? Have I somehow inadvertently, through messaging I received when I was young, have I somehow said no thank you to energy, which maybe in that time did not feel good, or was not appropriate, or some well-meaning adult figure helped you to shut down, and now you're like, yes, please, I want to experience all of life now. I'm ready. I'm not 12 anymore. I'm ready. And so you'll already notice a change.
Candy's asking, can you do this class with kiddos running around in the background? Absolutely. And you may enjoy then finding a time to practice when you can. I like practicing with with AirPods or headphones. And sometimes I'll put on ocean sounds, and we also can really cultivate further the power of our imagination. And so I love connecting with ocean. So I'll put that on, or I'll put on music that really moves and inspires me, and just move to that. So you can do that. Candy, your kiddos and family members are also.
Get the kiddos involved. You can bring them in. Yeah, get the kiddos. Aiden loves Qigong. He likes Avatar, so he feels like he's doing the Avatar.
Airbending and water bending. Yeah.
Airbending. Yes. He pretends he's airbending when he's doing it.
And we also, and Danielle and I also welcome participation from family members. So if you've got a loved one, a partner, there's no like together. There's no like, oh, you didn't pay for it. It's like, if they're like lurking in the doorway, you say, come on in. Literally, one of them is pushing the wave. Daniela was just kind of showing it. Like, one of the Qigong is literally like learning to be with the waves of life. That's and beautiful. To feel it. Like, let the wave push you. And then you're like, oh, I'm working with the energy of the wave. Yeah. It's so amazing. And I'm
going to be doing this on the beach in South Africa next week. Oh, yeah.
So brilliant. It's so brilliant. So we love this. We love this. I love teaching yoga, and I've moved more into Qigong because yoga seems kind of complicated, and some of the moves are pretty hard, and it has a sense of like, I need an hour, and I need to be in a yoga studio, and I don't have time for it, and I've got to put on a video. So with Qigong, we want to go right to the essence of this work. Qigong is inside of yoga, right? Qigong is like the grandfather of yoga. It's the grandfather of Tai Chi, the grandmother of yoga, the grandmother of Tai Chi. Whereas yoga and Tai Chi are more prescriptive movements. Like, here's how you do a sun salutation, right? You do this and then that and then this and then that. Qigong is the energy inside of that. So if you're present with your breath, if you're paying attention to your body and you're doing yoga or you're doing Tai Chi, you're also doing Qigong. Qigong is the energy within it. So with these Qigong practices, they're really simple. Only a few of them have even more than one step. And they're all about opening the channels of your body to receive, clearing the blocks in the mind, letting stale, stagnant emotions in the heart move and breathe and release, and then opening the physical energy pathways, the rivers of light that are coursing through your body, even now, from your deep internal life-giving organs out into the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes. We're opening it. We're teasing these open. Like, imagine some of you have a garden. Imagine you go to water your garden and you go to the house and you turn on the faucet, right? And then you go to the garden hose and it's a trickle. What happened?
There's a kink.
You already know, right? There's a kink in the hose.
Yeah.
So maybe you're like me and you're at the end and you're like trying to do like a whippy thing.
That's me. I don't want to walk all the way back to think I'm always doing this.
Or some of you are going to be like, mindfully trace the hose back.
Or trace the hose so that it was coiled up neatly.
So Daniela coils the hose up neatly so she doesn't have it. For me, the hose ends up in a heap, so it often ends up kinked. So we all have the kinked. We all have the kinkedness. And so these practices first unkink the hoses so that energy can flow. Because if you're experiencing some of your stories and Laura's story, if you're experiencing excessive heat from an energy movement in your body, it's because it's blocked. It's designed to move out. Your palms, the centers of your palms and the bottoms of your feet are gateways to energy. They breathe. You literally have energy lungs here at this point, right at the center of the palm. And on the feet, there's a very tender spot behind the balls of your feet in the middle. You can find it. If you press, you'll find where there's indentation. You can, if you want to experience this, you can move around with your thumb and move around a little bit and you'll find a tender spot. That is an energy gateway. It's designed to be open and it's designed to allow earth chi, right? So we have as above, so below. Your feet are designed to breathe with the earth. And then your upper centers are designed to breathe with the celestials. So we got to get these open because if you've got kinked hoses, it's the energy gets blocked. And then we're like, and then we get frowny and sad and we get depressed and we get worried and we're like, life is hard. It's like, life is challenging. This is, remember, the snake has to rub on hard things. Diamonds, the diamonds that Daniela loves to share about, diamonds that each of you are only and always formed under two things, right? Do you guys know what they are? What forms a diamond?
Darkness and pressure.
And time.
And time.
It's never fast. And not just a little bit of pressure, tremendous pressure and a long time. So diamonds that each of you are only and always formed under pressure and over time. And so here we are. This is our life. Our life is a pressure cooker, and we're becoming these brilliant, multifaceted diamonds. That's the nature of our journey on this earth, is to step into that brilliance.
In Kashmir Shaivism, they talk about we're really here for tapasya, the burning away of that which we are not. You know, we come here to kind of clean up. We don't come to earth for a vacay. We come for the purification. We come to purify and cleanse and release the effects of karma. And so to even have that awareness and to have access to those that can help us through our tapasya, that burning away of that which we are not, to come back into our true essential nature, knowing this is what you are, not the character you're playing, to even have access to this, a conversation like this, to have access to people, guides that can help us. speaks to the enormously good karma ripening for you in your lives right now. The fact that we all get to be here together like this and have access to incredible educators that can help us with our healing process, to help us to come back to knowing what we are, that is so rare. Guys, this is so rare. And so just know that. Like Dolores Cannon always said, right? There's like a long line of souls to come to earth, long line of souls to have this opportunity. In Buddhism, they describe they call it the precious human life, and the likelihood of getting a human incarnation to get to do these things is the same as they say, imagine a vast ocean, one turtle in it, swims around. Every 100 years, he only needs one little breath of air. The odds of him poking his little head up through this little golden circle, looks like a life preserver floating around, they call it the golden yolk. The odds of his little head coming up through the center of the golden yolk to get his little gulp of air and going back down 100 years is the odds of you having a human rebirth. And then to be here having a conversation like this and access to the many extraordinary educators in Divinate and in the Quantum Academy of Metaphysical Studies. It is such goodness is in your life right now. There is such opportunity. So please, 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 like for your own continued clearing and cleansing and enjoyment and empowerment, like take advantage of what's calling to you. Like say, like, please, this is just so rare to have access to this.
It takes some effort. It takes a little bit of effort.
Saul was asking, I'm currently taking Reiki 1 and 2. How does Qigong work with this?
I think it complements it
We were talking about that we were talking about that wire that can get burned out. I think it gives you a thicker wire, if you want to give it an analogy. It allows you to channel more energy. It boosts the power of your healing. Because when your cup is full, it makes it a lot easier. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It does. Yeah, no, I do hands-on work with people. I love energy healing, especially in person. And when I practice Qigong beforehand, I feel so fully charged and I feel so wonderful. And I feel so anchored in this Qigong program. We teach you how you are made up of 3 centers of divine intelligence. There's your head center of wisdom and spirit and inspiration and receiving intuition and messages and guidance. Then there's your heart center, which is love. So wisdom here, love at your heart center, and power and action at the core center, your dantian. And that's your center of action, power, and your whole body center. So Qigong brings you into congruency where your wisdom, love, and action are all aligned. So you feel both connected to your lightness of being and yet sharp and present and loving, right? It's like that ideal inner balance, that inner harmony as wisdom, love, and power. So they complement one another like tremendously. I think they enhance one another really. Yeah.
100%. Mm-hmm. Does anybody else have any questions about Qigong?
Yeah, or like about anything. We can talk about
anything, yeah.
Spiritual journey.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a chance to share that with you. I know it's a little bit of like an enroll now thing, and we're mostly we give and share, and every once in a while we're like, okay, time to register. So appreciate your patience. If this is like not at all interesting to you,
thanks for your patience.
Yeah, thanks for your patience. We normally love to share. We've dedicated our lives to giving and sharing, and we have free offerings running continuously, including in Divinate.
Yeah, and Sacred Sunday, if you're like, I don't know if I'm ready to like invest that, you can come. We teach free Qigong every Sunday morning. You can come to that. At 11, I lead the free forgiveness process. And then at 12, the free sacred energy distance healing. And so that's always available to you. No cost. 7 years now we've been doing this every Sunday. Because it's that effective. I just share what's effective. I'm like,
and so we care very much about helping you guys empower yourselves and heal yourselves and pass it on, pay it forward. It really does change the world when we come together to heal in such a degree.
Now, also, I wanted to share, Michelle, I saw your comment earlier about wanting to start your business, and then you just mentioned about the gold membership. some of you may not realize that we've added on a business consult to the gold memberships. So the three of us have been doing this kind of work for a long time. And Danielle and I personally meet in a Zoom consult with anybody who signs up for our gold membership to help with the gold membership itself, like how does this work and what do you receive and how to set up, and also to take a step back and hear your vision for your life. I'm a business technology specialist, and Daniela is a team development specialist. And together, we really bring a complete package of business and marketing and technology assistance to those who are part of this community. So for those who are, if you're interested, just know that that's a pretty substantial value add that we've just dropped into the gold members. So if you're already a gold member of Divinate, then please contact us so that we can set up your consult. And if you're considering it, 70, like that one consult is already worth several months. You know, that would normally be a $250 consult. So for $75 per month, and there's a big discount if you pay for the year, if your cash flow can help you with that, $597, I think it is, then we're able to get on and really just help you find the right starting point. The business development is a series of steps, and if you try to do them all at once, it quickly becomes overwhelming. So we're here to help understand, like, where are you and what's a one step forward towards what you say you want.
I paid $4,000 for a very basic website. If you guys have seen my website, it doesn't even look that great. So that's why this is one of the things that we want to provide for you guys, because, you know, we don't want you throwing your money away into something that isn't going to provide everything you need. So, you know, this is a big part of coming together as a community and helping each other, you know, with our small businesses, because many of you are doing all this hard work on your own. You're creating wonderful, beautiful, helping, you know, things that are very important for us on a spiritual level. And I'm looking at you, Michelle, because you're making Organite.
Oh my gosh,
you know? I know. I mean, think of how important Organite is right now. So that is something that we really do want to help people, you know, help the world. So absolutely, we have that in mind, Michelle. We'd love to help you with that.
Yeah, just write us, Michelle. Okay, well, let's get you going. We'll figure it out. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all in this together, as they say.
Anybody have any other questions about anything before we?
Well, we do have Siddhartha today, which I'm so excited about. Siddhartha will be joining us today. So for those of you who have not joined for a chat with Siddhartha yet, you are missing out. It is one of the very best blessings that we are able to give this community. And I hate to say it, I told them last night, I was like, it's a travesty when we only have 20 people show up with the Buddha talking. I mean, literally, it's an ancient ascended master. And our first few times, we only had a handful of people. And I'm like, this is incredible. I can't believe we don't have as many people. So this is why I'm really pushing this. You guys have no idea what you're missing out on. You have to go and listen to Siddhartha talk. In fact, he also does clearings. He does healings. He could tune into your energy. A lot of people have questions about things that are very deeply painful for themselves, that they need closure or some kind of a deeper understanding of. And you don't even know how powerful this experience really can be for somebody who's just having that connection. It's amazing. So don't miss it today.
He's going to lead a healing meditation, and it's recorded as well. So, you know, 1 p.m. isn't convenient for everybody. So one of the benefits of the membership is that all the replays are there. So you could go back and you can find where in the replay is a particular healing meditation by Siddhartha, or a class by Laura, or something by Daniela, and you can watch it as much as you like. This is your content.
But being there live is the best by far, to be able to ask Siddhartha a question. And many people actually for these for healing too. There's several of you who have have chronic pain issues, and Siddhartha, it's one of the first things he does. You know, he tunes into that energy and he helps alleviate some of that pain. So if you're somebody who, you know, needs a clearing or some kind of a boost of loving, you know, cosmic energy being channeled through you, you don't want to miss this chat, because like I tell you, your hair and your goosebumps are gonna be standing up on end. I mean, it is the best thing that we really do have on offer right now, is to have this opportunity for you guys. So don't miss it. Okay. I'm serious. Something you don't want to miss. I never miss it. I will
I think
change everything about my day so I don't miss this chat. I will cancel appointments so I don't miss this chat. That's just how much I absolutely adore Siddhartha.
Yeah, today it's 1 to 2:15 or 2:30 today, Eastern time. So it's 11:15. So in 1 hour and 45 minutes from right now, we'll be there.
Perfect. And we're gonna, let's see, what else have we got going on? It's not just Siddhartha. There was another thing.
Let's look at the events and see what's happening. Events. Okay, we've got some cool stuff coming up. Okay, so we have Siddhartha today. Michelle, I'm going to send you a PM. Okay, so just that. Kaya tomorrow morning. We have a more chit chat about Qigong on Friday night because that's fun to do on a Friday night. Saturday, there's a free class with Lauren and Camille, an introduction to meditation. You think you can't meditate? You can. That's on Saturday. And Sunday, after Sacred Sunday, after more free Qigong and more free forgiveness and more free
the themes, aren't you?
Saturday, Dr. Scott is on Laura's podcast. You don't want to miss that episode because he's going to be talking about the group hypnosis that he'll be doing on Sunday in paid membership, Sunday afternoon. It's going to be so incredible. So he's going to be on the podcast on Saturday. Who's tomorrow? I know I'm forgetting someone amazing. Oh, Steph. Isn't Steph tomorrow?
Yes.
Aww.
Yes. Steph is coming on tomorrow.
It's so
we love
awesome.
The Steph.
Hey guys, if you remember, Laura, if you remember when Scott's on Saturday, ask him if his wife will pop on just for a few minutes because she does some really cool stuff. I think with hypnosis, then she takes and she creates artwork, paintings based on what people see in there. It's really, really cool. Scott says like she doesn't talk about her work a lot. Or I'm like, well, grab her for a few minutes. Yeah.
Some examples on a session we were on. It was like, what?
Yeah. Hey, Christopher, Candy's asking if you could put the link again. That'll take you.
Yeah, it's all on the. Thank you, Candy. I really appreciate you all considering it. Maybe
that info, the link could be pinned for people to, and the discount code, so you make sure you get your half off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, Catherine, I can't thank you enough for your note. Like, Catherine, is it okay? Do I have permission to share sort of the essence of your note? Because I hear it a lot. Many of you hear me talk about like every week, like come to Sacred Sunday, like come do the I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you as a group practice. And sometimes people get like a little annoyed, like why? Like, what am I apologizing for? I'm a people pleaser, I'm a giver, like I'm trying to heal that. And it is a really magical process. And I've been teaching thousands and thousands of people this process, and I really set the stage for you to have a very potent direct experience, and it's life-changing. When we lead it in person, we would joke about how the marketing for Sacred Sunday would be come cry with strangers, because we'd have a room full of 40 people doing this practice in person and like weeping. It is so much release happens, and it's so safe, and it's very powerful. Like you'll feel things leaving you. You will literally feel things leaving you.
Yeah, gotta get them out.
Yep,
love it. Thank you very much, Christopher. You guys have the link, yeah?
Thank you, everyone, and thanks for those of you who have said yes. I see a few of you are giving that.
Wait, Laura, maybe you can. This is a question up your alley. Jordan is saying, I've heard from some people who make OG that when they have lots of finished products in their house, that it actually opens portals and increases spirit activity. Do you have any data on that?
That does not make any sense whatsoever. Sorry, but if you think about it, well, keep in mind, okay, that portals, there's not just negative portals. There are portals that open to every basis of reality. Okay, you can have high vibe portals, you can have low vibe portals, and everything in between. So portals, they are opened, they're not bad. It's just that portals are open through energy, right? Energy surges. That's why we find portals. You know, we found a portal in a remote control the other day, a TV remote. So I had made the assumption that you can really only open portals through a flowing current of electricity. So like that's why I was like, oh, okay, that's why it's in the smoke detector. It's being hard routed into the house. But no, it's actually just the case that any flowing energy can actually open portals. It doesn't mean that they're bad portals. It just means that you have a flow of energy there. So when it comes to organite, and I'll hold up a piece of Michelle's organite. Michelle sent me some cute little organites the other day. So
those are beautiful.
these little organites actually work together like a grid. And so just like you would have a crystal grid around your house, even though they're small, they actually end up boosting. You'd be surprised how they all kind of work together. And so they actually protect your house from negative energy. So they create like this barrier of your space that is I wouldn't say impenetrable, because, you know, it really depends on what you're channeling into that space too. And what, you know, TV you've got on, and a whole bunch of other signals also come into effect with it. But my point is that, you know, it may increase spirit activity for high vibe beings. You may be inviting angels and other high vibe stuff. I'm just using it as an example of a high vibe being. There's countless beings out there that are high vibe, lots of elementals out there, etc. And so you are going to increase spirit activity from a protective standpoint, from a high vibe standpoint, but not from a negative one. In fact, it's actually the opposite. They can't even come in your house. If you've got a lot of organite in your house, they can't come in, which is one of the reasons why they don't want us to talk about it. This is why they've been like, you know, telling Andy and I to shut up about using the word organite. And I'm still doing it anyway, because they can kiss my ass. So my point is that organite is extremely powerful, and they don't really want us to know that. So there's a lot of information that's muddying the waters, you know, and it's actually confusing people. So it's definitely a way of bringing in more powerful energy. And when you bring in more powerful high vibe energy, yeah, you can open portals. You can, you know, bring in high vibe beings, but you're not going to bring in anything negative. That's my point. So yes, it may increase spirit activity, but it's the kind of spirit activity you actually want versus the kind that you're, you know, trying to keep out. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, Jordan, beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion about organite because there's so many different people studying it, you know, and the people that invented it, you know, they're long gone. So there's a lot of people who are, you know, expanding on it in their own way, and that's totally cool. But I prefer to stick with people like Reinhard Stanjek that worked with the original developers, that, you know, with Wilhelm Reich, and know how this work is supposed to be done, because you can make organite incorrectly. It's actually very easy to screw it up. So to know what you're doing with organite is paramount. Otherwise you're just wasting your materials. So
he's so sweet. I love watching his videos on Instagram. I just love his calm energy. He's like my like other Mr. Rogers, you know, like literally. I just love that patient, loving energy.
And Reinhard was actually a student of Wilhelm Reich's and knows how you know, it was actually created by, he knows his stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, bless him. Keep him like well.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So okay, I think that's complete.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. We'll see you guys in a little over an hour with Siddhartha. See you soon.
Oh, Michelle, that of course. Reich is a family name of mine. Michelle says.
Wow. What a non-coincidence, Michelle.
Yeah, it means nothing. No, right.
Oh, that's totally there's a key right there. Without a doubt.
Cool. I love that. All right,
Very
friends,
cool.
Remember, check your grapes and your bananas. Check your grapes and your bananas before you dive in from the grocery store. Bananas and grapes. You just always want to check that, because big spiders like bananas, little ones like grapes. Okay.
You are so funny, Daniela. Love you guys very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a wonderful day. We'll see you all later. Bye.
See you later.